everybody, and welcome back to another Waltons review, where we get to review that I thought which was a wonderful episode, The Sinner. Well, and with me is Resolute Germ. How you doing, Germ?
Not too bad. How you doing, Gorilla?
I'm doing best I can. So, so I'm gonna start this out here. Here, like usual, with the synopsis, or no, not yeah, this will be the synopsis.
The
That belongs at
intro.
the end. The what? The
Just call it an
intro.
intro.
Yeah. So we got The Sinner. That was written by John Fiora Jr. I don't. This is directed by Philip Lealock. I think I've heard that name before, but I'm
I
not quite
remember a
sure.
day in hot summer back during the Depression when we all wished Walton's mountain was a mile higher so its cool shade would reach us sooner. Growing up in those long gone days, I took for granted the discomfort of a hot summer. But as a novice writer, I took it as my duty to question other things, like sin and what made a sinner. Trouble was, no one seemed to agree.
Okay, so there's our intro there. I do like how they do the intros to this here. So you got a brand new, right out of the sanctuary preacher here, with whatever this gal would be, missionary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently she's been to Asia. There, we're trying to convert a bunch of Buddhists in that there, and then kind of snidely remarking that they worship animals and all. I don't think the Buddhists worship animals, do they?
No, they don't.
I know the Hindus worship cows,
Not
but
directly, but close.
yeah.
Close enough.
Well, they're sacred in Hinduism,
Yeah.
and she's hoping to find that she's just trying to hopefully he's just as uptight as she is, and she insults the people, calling them simple folk. Or well, really, would that be considered an insult?
Not really.
Okay, and all that. So they got here. They're getting told to mind their manners and all that. They got company, be on the best behaviors. Don't sneeze. You can talk, but to yeah. No, I would got in the lecture. You better behave, or you're getting an ass whooping. And
Not quite
apparently
the
that
time for that.
yeah. So apparently they've been waiting for a couple hours and all that. John John promised to take them swimming and all that. Grandpa tells his old story. And apparently, this lady got the wrong thinks that they're God fearing family there, but Olivia, she is a good Baptist. But did you get the impression that this lady would fit right into the West? Was it the Westboro Baptist Church?
Yep. That's the type of Baptist she is.
Yeah, and yes, I am making I am making a snide remark about the Westboro. God, they're ugh. So they're talking there. Uh, they're waiting for him. John's telling him to go swimming. Olivia's pissed about it. You can tell she's pissed about it because they got company coming over. He's taking them swimming.
Yeah. But they've been waiting for like 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
You ain't on time. Screw your proper greeting.
Or I think this would have been better off if they just would have played in the garden hose and went swimming the next day. But you got all the kids in the. Apparently, they wore swimsuits like that back in the day. The men did.
That's what everyone. Well, That was a male swimsuit back in the day.
Yeah.
The woman's swimsuit covered a whole lot more.
Kind of like let's go back. Oh, that's not covered. Oh, Mary Ellen's actually the one covered the most. What's this? What's her name? Erin there. Oh, she has about the same amount on as the boys. Yeah, Elizabeth has the same amount. So they're not too. They look like they're not too happy that they're all wet and that. Then John had uh what was the comment there? You made a joke about hell. Yeah, she wasn't too happy about it there. Then goes, yes, ma'am, that was about 2 or 3 hours ago. Yeah, I made a comment about it being hot out. God knows how hot it is because he made hell out of it.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. That's a pretty funny joke.
And I'm betting you don't recognize the preacher.
He looks familiar, but I'm not good with actors.
They say about 5 years from this, he becomes very famous in one of the most popular shows on TV.
What's that?
That's John Ritter.
John Ritter?
Three's Company.
Oh, okay, I got you now. Yeah, I didn't recognize him. I didn't watch too much of Three's Company. And really, it'd be hard to even review that one. So, they go in the house to see Olivia there, and they all take off swimming. And they're all just reciting Bible verses back together. Apparently, Grandpa's looking for his inner tube because he's got to go swimming too. So they're all swimming, having a jolly good old time. Okay, then Olivia comes down to the watering hole there and convinces them to go back to the house because she's pissed that they have company. She doesn't like his. He says that she's not too happy with his manners and that. And apparently he's doing a bunch of exercises because something about temptation and all that. John Boy's wanting to learn about sin from Grandpa. I don't know where they were going, or I can't remember.
That preacher boy has a lot of what they called righteous vigor.
What righteous vigor?
It's sort of like the vigor of a new convert. He's bought into the whole line, and he is very, very enthusiastic.
Yeah. Until a little bit later in the episode, which made me. Good thing I didn't have to pee at the time. So then he's asking Ike there, and Ike's just basically telling them off. No, people don't want to talk to him about their sins and stuff. Oh. Here, I wanted to show this scene here because this was a good three-way between the three. This is what you get when you get when you get a fresh preacher out of the sanctuary that hasn't seen the real world yet. So let's play that.
Damned into it.
Dad?
Children.
Oh, she made a mistake. She swore in front of him.
Children. Do not mock the power of the Lord. You don't want to be like Lucifer when he fell in pride. Be not free with curses and abominations, lest you be cursed in the eyes of God. Give up your evil
You can see that Elizabeth's getting a little scared of him there because he just starts ranting.
ways, and debauchery, and adultery, and covetousness.
I bet you a lot of those words they don't even know what they mean.
No tongue wag that is not as
That's
pure
a
as
pretty
the
good
newing
bet.
of a nursing babe. For your hearts are shriveled up, and inside ye are corruption. Think ye of the fierce and righteous judgment of the Lord.
Oh, John's getting pissed now.
You are as putrid as death, and a stench in the nostrils of the Lord Jehovah.
Who was Jehovah?
That's the proper name of God in the Judeo-Christian tradition.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Where you think they got Jehovah Witnesses.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, so he's a Jehovah's Witness. My God. Huh.
He's not quite that bad.
Yeah.
And he shall visit you one day with
He is
scourges
a
of fire to
Baptist.
cleanse you.
What was that?
He is a Baptist.
Yeah.
A very fiery and brimstone type Baptist.
Yeah.
But he isn't part of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
They're a completely separate thing.
Yeah. I heard they don't celebrate Halloween. I suppose they just don't like a bunch of people just coming and knocking on their door, asking for something.
That would be ironic.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to John just yelling at him.
Reverend! You're scaring these children.
We are all evil sinners in the Lord Jehovah's eyes, and it's time now to repent before it is too late.
Now listen here, these are good, sweet children. I'm not going to let anyone fill them with a pack of nonsense.
Who's right in the situation here? John or the Reverend, or will it be Olivia?
I'm going with John.
Yeah.
It sure ain't the Reverend, because he's too damn young to know better.
Yeah.
If the question is between a 21-year-old kid and a seasoned, calm-headed adult like John, 11 times out of 10, John's going to be right.
Yeah. Well, John there, he better be calm. He's had 7 kids. Yeah. So they.
I'll wash up too, man.
Yeah.
My children are not going to be treated like that, Liv. Not by anyone.
They are my too, John Walton.
So yeah, you get that shit where she perfect, almost a perfect response to that. It's like the preacher's tearing them apart.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Yeah, so John goes back to. No, it's so funny here. Jason's playing Countdown Ladies, then he starts playing another. Grandma comes in, so he starts playing another song there. I'm not sure which song this is. Oh, so what song is this that he plays? I better not play too much. There's
Sounds like a hymn.
Yeah, it's some kind of hymn, but I don't know which one. There, that just puts a smile on Grandma's face. There. So she goes back. They're splitting wood. It turns out that John Boy there's already got the birds and the bees talk.
Well, of course, he's 17.
Yeah, but I didn't know when they gave it to him back in those days. But of course, they had it all nice and easy back in those days. They only had to talk about the birds and the bees. They didn't have to talk about the birds and the birds, the bees and the bees, the birds who want to be bees. You know that whole spiel now.
Oh, that's all simple stuff. There are birds and then there are bees, and then there are birds and there are bees who are freaking crazy. Get used to it.
Then he asks his dad there or John there what he believes. You know, he just says he's kind of like a open-minded spiritual guy. Oh, he believes like
Sacred one. As for faith, that's a personal and private thing. It's not something like you pull on like you pull your pants on in the morning. I don't think that's much different from what your mama thinks.
okay. So yeah, that's what his response was. Oh yeah, John Boy got booted out to the loft. That'd have to suck to have to go sleep out in the barn, but I guess well actually no, not too bad. We used to play up in the hay lofts and all that. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I'm sure he's used to it.
Yeah. So then so yeah, they're kind of having rehashing the attack. He tells them to quit fretting about sin. Oh yeah, apparently the Reverend takes cold showers and all that in the morning and exercises to fend off. He tells John Boy he has to fret off the sin and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, John Boy's not getting a straight answer. So then he's going off about fornication and lust again. And apparently they're listening. Uh, oh yeah, he's telling them that people won't understand his fancy language that he's using to tone it down. He's telling them to tone it down a bunch.
Yeah, that fiery and brimstone stuff does not go over too well.
Yeah, especially when you get the country folks there that didn't go to college to learn those fancy terms. Oh yeah, so Yancey comes over. He's delivering some chickens and all that. Then he told him that his dad's inside there with the Reverend. So the Yancey just scootles all off to the Baldwin sisters. And apparently
An
they're one of those.
understandable move.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, now Elizabeth's there had a bad dream that she's going to hell and all that because she stole a piece of gingerbread. But no, they tell her she's not going to hell and stuff. So she goes back to bed. She's not gonna. John's right. Rifle pissed. See what he's doing? He's tearing the family apart. Blah blah blah. He doesn't like how they. He's not liking the cold shoulder and how they quarrel. Nancy comes in, drunker than a skunk. Apparently smelled like a vat to that recipe. He can't speak. Falls off the ladder and drops the lantern. Now it was awfully nice of John Boy to drag him out, and they got so he got an old fashioned fire brigade going. They're all running back and forth there. They're dumping water on it. They actually got a pretty good system, like they've had to do that before.
Well, I'm sure that's a fairly regular occurrence.
Yeah, but back in those days too, in order to be able to vote, you had to be part of the fire brigade.
Not
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, a lot of places you had to be. But also they all know they're like good neighbors and all that, so I'm pretty sure everybody would chip in to help each other out and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like the fire brigade that was voluntary, but you're expected to lend a hand when needed.
Yeah.
It is only the good Christian thing to do. And if you didn't, it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah. So finally they get it out there, and Yancey was apparently helping. Yancey promised to fix the barn and pay for the hay and stuff. That's pretty nice of him. Then
And hello, LDG.
Oh, greetings, LDG. How's it going? We're reviewing the episode "The Sinner." If you haven't seen this episode, I thought it was a damn good episode. I'm not sure about Germ yet, but Olivia has a good question here. Is this the human nature he prized so highly? Because earlier he goes that he has to start understanding human nature, and she's right. I think Olivia's right on this one. What do you think?
No, a little iffy.
You know, a little iffy.
She has the right idea, but she's missing the point to what John was saying.
Yeah. At least John is able to shake Yancey's hand and forgive him for what
Yeah.
happened. You know.
Needless to say, those Rhode Island Reds are free now.
Yeah.
Hey, Gap.
Oh, hey, Gap. How's it going? There. So, do you think Yancey learned his lesson not to be drinking and driving and get that fucking drunk?
Oh, for a little while.
Yeah.
If not, he's going to owe John a whole lot more of those Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah. Rhode Island Reds.
The chickens.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I forgot about the Rhode Island. Now, here's a question. They're putting this tent up for services and bringing all this stuff in, you know. But why didn't they just use the school? Because back in the day, the 1800s, I know the school was also the church.
You want that many people jammed into a probably log cabin-like structure in the middle of summer?
Well, they used to do it that way.
In the middle of summer, you're going to bake some people.
Yeah, maybe you got a point there. And that's good. That's good to hear, Gap, that you're doing good. Then, so yeah. So then, this is when Grandpa or he gets dropped. He gets dropped off there by Miss Prissy Pants. I can't remember her name. You know, she says she's going to Charlotte. She'll be back. Then he asked Grandpa if he could take him over to the Baldwin sisters because apparently they were cousins on, what was it, Uncle Elwood's side? They're like,
Apparently.
no. They're trying to talk about going over there. It's a long ways. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. Trying to talk him out of it because they know what the Baldwin sisters. You know what he's gonna say about the Baldwin sisters.
He ain't going to say a thing about family.
Yeah, no, he'd go up in a big old lecture if he found out what about the recipe and all that.
Let's not forget that he's still a young man himself.
Yeah.
He ain't never had any of the recipe.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what it smells like or tastes like.
Yeah, so he's a lightweight. So yeah, he said he must extend his courtesy. So they actually he can't talk him out of it. So they take him over there, and they're having a chat, good old chat. He's drinking it. It's pretty funny. When he started slurring his words and all that after like, what would that be, a shot and a half? He was slurring his
Something
words.
like that.
But this is Is it moonshine or is it whiskey?
It would be moonshine because I doubt they aged that stuff.
Yeah, it's a light brownish color there, but it's also not stored in a barrel. There, and it did give him the or the from their first shot. And it probably didn't taste like paint thinner. So yeah, they're sitting there talking, drinking the recipe, talking highly of the judge. Grandpa tried talking him out of the drinking, but he still took a drink there because the Baldwin sisters insisted on it. And apparently the recipe got him through many trying times. So what is
Yeah, a nice
Catara?
drink will do that.
What's Catara?
From the way they described it, I would think it's some sort of disease, sort of like cholera.
Oh, okay. And LDG, are you talking to us? Are you asking if we're coming to the backstage later? Okay. You think they might have some liver ailments from drinking it every day?
Oh no, not good high quality stuff like that.
Yeah. Then not only that, so okay, so they had seen him since 1914, and it's like 1933, so they hadn't seen him in like 20 years. So yeah, so they're all putting the church shit together and get ready for an all-day sermon. I just want to play this scene here. So they, so they, stuff. So and you just watch Grandma's reaction to that one guy in Miss Percy Pants, whatever her name is. Grandma's embarrassed and the lady's pissed.
Yeah. Well, Grandma knows whose fault it is.
Yep.
Neighbors and friends, I want to thank
Oh god, I love that. He just falls right out of the truck, and Grandma and Olivia looks really disappointed in him, and Grandma just looks pissed,
Yeah.
like she wants to tan Zeb's hide right there.
At the very least.
Yeah, so yeah, let's see what else is there. Grandpa singing.
Is called up yonder. When the roll is called up yonder.
Now he knows he fucked. He looking at Grandma's face there. He knows he fucked up. She's disappointed in him. So yeah. So they put him up in the thing there. And I think this was another scene I wanted to see.
some preacher.
Oh, he just made a mistake.
Mistake. Daddy is a hypocrite.
See, this is
He's not
where
a
John.
hypocrite. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, here John. This is where John changes his mind. I'm not because I guess now he has some leverage over the preacher.
No, he just knows a young man and knew he was no match for Zeb going in.
Yeah. So yeah, here I want to show a little bit more of this.
And repenting, and he goes out and gets himself drunk. You act like it was nothing.
Because literally it was nothing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, getting drunk every once in a while is not a sin. I don't care what anybody says.
Not unless you do something real, real stupid.
Yeah. And here, John has some good points in this.
Now, don't mistake me, son. Simply wrong to I get drunk, but he's just a young fella. Not too experienced at the job of living.
You see, he's right. He's just a young buck. So yeah, they just walk off there. So John says he can't take the Colt's shoulder. Olivia makes up to him, and the preacher wants to scuttle off before to the nearest bus station because he's afraid to show his face in that small town anymore. There, John.
Well, you think his career's dead.
Yeah, because they're. So they all walk to church and that too. Now, how gentlemanly of Ben to open the door for her. Oh, right here is where I want to see show.
I am mortally ashamed. Since early this morning, I have prayed to the Lord for forgiveness. there isn't much I can say.
Indeed, there is not, Mr. Fodor.
Yeah.
I apologize. I let you down. And the mission work in Asia that you offered, it's so important.
Well, he lost his chance there to go to Asia, I guess.
Maybe, maybe not.
I'm certain the Lord will find
Yeah.
him
And here she's telling them they're gonna find a
a
replacement
more
for him.
suitable vessel to do his work.
But I still want to try. I know I have fallen, and I am ashamed, and I will pray for strength. But I spent 4 years learning and studying. What do I do, Miss Prison?
Whatsoever a man soweth, so also shall he reap, Mr. Fodor.
God, I can't. That's the one thing that.
She doesn't understand that quote very well.
Yeah, and I probably the way they just talk to is just like, give us some English, please, not this old English.
Well, that's what the Bible's written in.
Yeah, but still,
It was translated by a king many centuries ago.
yeah. So yeah, he's all sad there that they're not giving him the chance anymore. So yeah, this is where John Boy decides he's not going to go to church. He's going to be like his dad there, and she's not going to get in the vehicle with Zeb there because what he got drunk. She's probably afraid he's going to crash the vehicle because he's drunk. Yeah, this is where he wants to go to find the bus station. There, because he can't show it. He doesn't want to show it because he thinks people don't want to hear the person talk, the sinner talk.
Well, if he was talking to a bunch of holier than thou hardline Baptists like he's used to, they'd run him out of town.
Yeah. And here, this is where John does the one thing that nobody expected. He shows up, he brings the preacher in, and he shows up to church. He's even wearing a tie. They're shocked. So I'm going to play this part also.
Why have you brought that man here?
I brought along the preacher we all came to hear.
See, yeah. Oh wait, that's not the part I wanted to show.
I'd like to hear him myself.
Yeah, so John's telling the people. So, with John being a pillar of the, well, I wouldn't say a pillar of the community, but being outspoken.
Oh, he's a pillar of the community.
Yeah, yeah. You know, people will listen to him. You know.
If he speaks, I shall leave.
And here, my response will be that, well, then fucking leave. That would have been my response to her.
Yeah. Stop selling the guy so much. They already want to hear him.
Yeah, they already showed up. I mean,
And I'm sure none of them particularly like her.
yeah, I mean, let him apologize. It's not like nowadays where apologizing will just embolden the crowd.
Matt Fordwick here is a trained preacher. He's trained to preach the word of the Lord. That's worth hearing for my money. Little of it is.
You know, that's kind of funny. He goes, it's worth his money, even though, you know, you can tell as poor as that community is, you know, when they say it's worth their money, it actually means something. God, I hate having to pause this every couple sentences, though. It almost takes you out of it, though. But you have to because of copyright bullshit.
Yeah, you can skip ahead,
It is not
too.
worth
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was a very important back and forth that they had here. I really liked it.
listening to a drunkard and a public sinner.
That's true, John.
You know, if we would have said that to Zeb probably had something on that guy. He could probably started talking what all that guy's sins are.
I'm sure there's not a guy between there and Charlottesville that Zeb don't have something on.
Yeah. And Zeb knows how to use it and when to use it. So this is where we get John's speech.
Now, most of you folks know me, know the kind of man I am. I'm not much of a churchgoer. And lately, as a matter of fact, I've been more unfeeling than usual. More bullheaded.
So is this supposed to be like an apology also to Olivia by saying he's been more bullheaded?
A little bit, yeah.
Don't believe me, ask my wife over there. But I read the Bible too, and seems to me there's a story in there about another public sinner. And it says something about let him who is without sin cast the first stone.
And that is where Baptists get it wrong.
Yeah.
They think that's a way to pick it out the order in the line of who gets to throw the stones.
Yeah. And so she gets up and leaves, and the preacher starts talking, John sits by and actually goes. There, he actually gave a pretty good sermon, but I can't really show. Then Zeb did the right thing there, and he's the one that got up and started singing first, and apparently everybody, even John, knows the song so well that they didn't need the hymn books. And they're just
I
singing.
think he picked a very, very basic one.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is the name of the song, "The Lamb of God." I think that's the name of the song. So they all get up and start singing. So go right here.
The memory of those days is with me still. It makes me laugh sometimes to think how innocent a boy I was. Sometimes cruel and pompous, and sometimes loving and wise like my parents. And remembering those long gone days, I'm grateful they were mine.
So yeah, that's pretty much the end of that episode there. There. I thought it was a damn good episode. What about you?
Yeah, very good episode. John Ritter alone gets it a huge bump in points.
Yeah, and it had some really good back and forth there. There in there in I think the preacher there learned some valuable lessons in that. And I think he becomes the regular of the community. So I don't think that's the last we see of him.
Oh, maybe not,
Yeah.
because he has to do a little more in this turn to roll on a major hit television show.
Yeah. I think overall I'm gonna give it a 9 there. There's a few slight changes there. Personally, it would have been the best episode ever if he would just beat the shit out of Yancey there, or if he would beat the shit out of the preacher in the beginning, then the preacher into redemption arc.
Oh, the preacher guy's redemption arc.
Oh yeah,
He should have, while shaking Yancey's hand, just mentioned about those chickens are free now.
yeah, and then Nancy's replacing his hay and fixing his barn for him. There.
That overall, a 9 sounds good.
Yeah, and how many people could really turn? Well, thank you very much, Gap. Now, I think with this here, with it though, also there, how many people do you think could have shook Yancey's hand there after he almost burnt the barn down because he was fucking piss ass drunk, instead of just when he starts apologizing, now knock him over, especially since their livestock were in there and his oldest boy, his pride and joy, was in the barn.
Most in that town would have raised the fit, and ironically, eventually brought it to the sheriff or John, who would have got the situation to end up just the way it did.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still think that family there had to have been a couple of different fires for them to have that good of a system going. You know, it's lucky they had 7 kids to be able. They're all old enough to run back and forth with water buckets like that.
Oh, I'm sure that's happened before, and it's something they practiced.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm giving this one a 9.
I
9 there.
concur with that.
Yeah. And our next episode's actually I remember this one. I actually remember this one too. It's the boy from the CCC. John Boy and Elizabeth find a young boy in the woods who has run away from a CCC camp in New York. They take him home where he is fed and clothed. Then he is caught stealing by John Boy. Yeah. Was it illegal to run away from the CCC? I thought that was a voluntary program.
I'm not recalling what the CCC was offhand.
It was a jobs program in the 30s to give people jobs and something to do there in the 30s. That like the Hoover Dam was a CCC project. Our courthouse that was built in here was built by in our what was our basically our old government building that they called the resource center that used to be the old school. That was a CCC project. Basically the government funded building a bunch of different buildings, bunch of shit, roads, dams, courthouses, schools, and all that. It was all they paid people to build them to give them a job and a sense of worth.
Oh, the pothole brigade.
Sure. So
I'm sure if you entered the program voluntarily, you could voluntarily leave. But as I recall, it was very popular to put people in there when they got convicted of certain low to medium level crimes.
oh, gotcha. And Gap's asking what's on the schedule for tomorrow.
Schedule for tomorrow is Double Dragons, Super Mario, Reboot, and He-Man. As for specific episodes, He-Man, I believe I have that close at hand. Diameter the Demon.
Cool. And he says, cool. So that's all you got going on, or you got anything else going on?
That's the only thing for sure. Everything else is if I can get to it, if I remember it, or if I decide to get off my lazy ass and actually do it.
Alrighty. Yeah, now make sure to visit Gap After Dark. He has a ton of good shorts on there showing off those cool knickknacks and stuff he's found. It's pretty cool some of the stuff he's found and all that. And you can find LDG hashtag Free the Net in the underground most times. That's at freethenet.org/underground. Always a lot of fun back there. If you ever need technical help, place to hang out. They watch stuff, they play games and stuff. It's always fun. So make sure to visit LG's place there. Tomorrow I might do random thoughts with Gorilla, but also um we will have Babylon 5. Then with all these different states doing human composting there, I thought we'd watch the dystopian documentary of what will happen, Soylent Green. There, then we are also starting season 4 of Stranger Things there on Wednesday. So make sure to check.
Down to one episode a night, right?
Yeah, because they're like an hour and a half. now.
Yeah.
They're going with the Orville smile. It's like, oh god, yeah, 50 minutes wasn't long enough. Now they're making them even longer. So yeah. And with that, you guys have a good night, and remember to be a gorilla.